So hey Emmett, so what's your favorite part of the fry down?
Probably running around and eating a bunch of food.
I agree. I love the diversity of food at the fry down.
Hi, welcome to the Cahaba River Society Catfish Fry Down. My name is Malia.
I'm Rowan. I'm Emmett.
I'm Grant.
And we want to welcome you to New Orleans and Birmingham. We moved here from New Orleans a number of years ago, and we brought some of our very favorite recipes with us, so we want to make some of those for you today. So let's get started. These boys are working hard peeling potatoes so that we can make mashed potatoes with roasted garlic. Now we're going to make some peach cobbler, and this is the world's easiest peach cobbler. So what we're going to do is we took a can of peach pie filling and a can of peaches in juice, and we combined them with a little lemon juice and a little bit of salt, and we're going to put them in our pie pan. And then I made a very simple biscuit topping that's kind of soft, and you just kind of plop it on there in little biscuity piles. It's going to rise up in the oven and get all golden and tasty. And I would recommend putting this on a cookie sheet in the oven because it's going to boil over in the bottom of your oven and catch everything on fire, and then you're going to have to run screaming into the kitchen and put out your oven fire. So follow my advice there and maybe put this on a tray. I learned that one from personal experience. But we're going to put this biscuit in here, and then we're going to try to sort of smooth it out, but you don't have to be too crazy about trying to get it exactly smooth because cobbler is very forgiving and very easy. So we're going to get that all on there, and then we're going to smooth it out just a little bit. It's not pretty, but it's going to be delicious. Then we're going to take some sugar and sprinkle that sugar all over the top of our cobbler topping. So it's going to give it like a crunchy caramelized crust, and it's going to be really good. So that's going to go into the oven and bake for about 45 minutes for us, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, until it's really bubbly and brown and gorgeous on top. And then we're going to pull it out and serve it with some ice cream. So I think one of our favorite things about Birmingham when we first moved back here from New Orleans was that we moved into a house near the Cahaba River. And we took our dogs down there almost every day and would let them swim in the river and run around on the banks. And we would go look for mussels and fish and cool stuff. And then my husband discovered fishing, and I lost him to the river for a while, but thankfully I eventually retrieved him. But Rowan, what do you like about the Cahaba River?
Fishing.
To go on top of our fish, we're going to make a Creole sauce. And this is very similar to like shrimp Creole or crawfish Creole that you might have in New Orleans, except we're going to make it a vegetarian version. I'm not sure why, because we're having it with fish, but pescatarian, right? So we're going to start with some olive oil in our pan here. And to that, we are going to add up some chopped up celery, onion, green bell pepper, and yellow bell pepper. And we're going to get that sauteing, and we're going to just stir that occasionally until it gets soft. I think I better turn my heat up just a little bit. I had it on low there. We kind of want it on medium. So we don't want to brown those veggies too much, but we do want them to get nice and soft and start to sweat their liquid out. Right, we're back and we're cooking, and it has occurred to me that it is hot out here, and I'm not sure whose idea this wig was anyway. All right, it was my idea, but we're going full Mardi Gras here. We're committed. So we're cooking, and what we've got going in here is our peppers, our onions, and our celery, and they really have wilted down and softened up, and they're just starting to get brown. And so what we're going to do now is briefly add a tablespoon of chopped garlic. I know what you're thinking. I think you're probably thinking, no way is that a tablespoon. That's like a quarter cup of garlic. But I am one of those people who believes that you should use extra garlic in every recipe. So we're gonna stir this garlic in and let it start to get sort of soft and good smelling. And really when you start to smell that garlic, it's releasing its oils into your oil and your veggies here. So what we're gonna do then is we're gonna put in the rest of our ingredients. So I have a mixture here of thyme, cayenne pepper, pepper, and bay leaves. And I'm gonna add that into my mix. Let that start to get hot and toasty. And only after I add that and let it get warm for a second am I going to add my liquids. So the next thing I'm going to add is a can of diced tomatoes. And 2 cups of chicken or veggie broth. I'm using veggie broth here. And actually I'm a huge fan of better than bouillon veggie broth, so that's what I'm using. And then we're gonna put in some Worcestershire sauce, however you like to say that. You can say it how you want. So I'm gonna mostly cover this and let it sit there for a while, maybe about 20 minutes, and cook down. So our sauce is cooked down, and we're gonna finish it off here by adding a little bit of butter and some parsley and a little glug of wine. And you can use red wine or white wine, don't use too much, just a little bit. And we're gonna let that warm through basically. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off the heat in a moment once the wine cooks off so that it doesn't taste too alcoholic. So how's the potato peeling going, guys?
We're done!
Woohoo!
All right, Emmett, why do you like the Cahaba River?
Because you can swim,
Yeah, what do you like to do while you're swimming?
jumping off rocks.
Well, good jumping rocks on the Cahaba, huh?
Jump.
So now we're gonna make our mashed potatoes, and we are making roasted garlic mashed potatoes. And you'll notice that I tried to cut my finger off earlier when I was making that roasted garlic, so I don't recommend that you try that. But we are using Yukon Gold potatoes here that the kids are peeling for us, and that's because they're a little bit waxy, a little bit starchy. They seem to come out just right with mashed potatoes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna boil those potatoes until they're tender to a knife, and then we're gonna mash them up with some butter, some olive oil, because we're going for healthy here, right? New Orleans, but healthy. And some milk, or heavy cream if you wanna be like super New Orleans about it. But we have our potatoes that we boiled in our mixer, and we're going to add roasted garlic that I nearly cut off my finger to make, and a bunch of milk and butter and olive oil that I forgot to bring out here. I'm getting hungry because I totally forgot my ingredients there. But now I have it, and I've got milk and butter and olive oil mixed together and warmed up so it doesn't cool down your potatoes. I'm gonna add those in, and you don't necessarily have to add all of it at first. You can kind of play it by ear and see how much you need.
Hey Mom, what's your favorite thing to do at the Cahaba River?
Oh, you know, I'm a plant person, so the lilies are my absolute favorite thing, and I try to go down there as often as I can when the lilies are blooming, and I like to just take a hammock and put it up in a tree next to the river and chill and hang out with the lilies.
Good fishing on there around the lilies.
See what I mean here with the fishing? Our entree today is going to be blackened catfish. So we're gonna start that process by drying off our catfish really well, because you're about to coat it with oil or butter, and that doesn't work well if you don't dry the catfish off really well. So I'm gonna use way too many paper towels here and try to get the fish really dry. And then I'm just gonna throw that on the ground. And then what we're gonna do is take our fish fillets and coat them in olive oil or butter, depending on how healthy you wanna be. I'm gonna use olive oil because I'm making an effort here. But if you want to be sort of authentically New Orleans about this, you would definitely use butter to coat your fish fillets. So we're going to spread those out, and this is olive oil. I'm just going to give them a nice little rub down, give them a little massage, and I'm going to flip them over. And then we have to get our Cajun seasoning on. And so I'm going to use some Cajun seasoning here, and we're going to sprinkle it all over the fish. Now, how much Cajun seasoning you use depends on how much your family likes their food spicy. If I were making this in New Orleans for adults, I would literally coat this fish until it was like solid seasoning. And you can see I was running out of that first jar, so I got a second jar here. And I'm gonna use all of this too. If I'm making this for children, I'm going to use a lot less seasoning, or maybe try to make my own Cajun seasoning so that it has a lot less pepper, like black pepper and cayenne pepper in it. Okay, so let's use all of this Cajun seasoning. So there's our Cajun seasoning, looking good. So what I have here is a steel griddle. I'm gonna put my butter on it. This is maybe hot enough. It should be a little crazier and scarier than that. But I'm gonna put my butter on here and let it melt. And then I'm gonna cook my fish in that butter on this really hot griddle. If you don't have a griddle, most people do this in cast iron, but you wanna get your cast iron screamingly hot before you do it. So I have pretty thin fish fillets here. They're probably gonna cook in a minute or two on each side, but you want to change your cooking time based on the thickness of your fillets. All right, so there they go, and you can see they're already starting to look cooked here around the edges. So this is gonna happen really fast. All right, we're gonna start flipping these babies over. Didn't quite have it hot enough to begin with there, but it's gonna taste great anyway. Don't think anybody's gonna be too picky about that. To plate this up, we're gonna take some of our potatoes and put them on the plate in a nice fluffy pile. And then we're gonna put our fish on top to catch all the juices running into the potatoes. And then we're gonna put some of our Creole sauce around the edge there. Look at all those vegetables. Doesn't that look healthy? So healthy, y'all. All right, I hope you enjoy your blackened fish with roasted garlic mashed potatoes and Creole sauce. Our peach cobbler has just come out of the oven and it is piping hot, probably too hot to eat, really. But we're gonna jump the gun and dish it up for you here, and I have some of our favorite vanilla bean ice cream to go with it on our plate there. There we go. Enjoy. So thank you for coming with us on our culinary journey to New Orleans, and I hope that you'll think about donating to support the Cahaba River Society and the important work that they do preserving biodiversity in our area.
And now for the taste test.